All right. Y'all ready? I want to welcome everybody to the October 17th meeting. It's 6 o'clock. If I could get approval agenda this time. Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. We've got an invocation of pledge tonight. Is special guest Pastor Deborah Hall from the Kingdom Builders Outreach Ministry. Like to come forward. Welcome.
I do want to correct something. I'm not a pastor.
Well, we got
But
pastor.
I do
We're gonna
have
party
a-
pastor today. How is that?
Oh, that's a big title. Okay. Do y'all usually start with pledge or
Either way
prayer?
you want to do. You can start with a prayer and then we'll do the pledge.
That's great. Okay, thank you. Heavenly Father, we just come before you tonight with grateful hearts for all your many blessings in our lives. Thanking you for this nation, God, that we live in a place that you chose, Lord, to plant us in a place, in a country, God, where we have freedom of religion and where we can pray. And I thank you for this Board of Commissioners, God, that they allow and they welcome prayer in their meetings. This shows me, God, that they want to be in your will in the decisions that they make concerning this community. I ask you to bless each one of them, God. Give them the mind of Christ as they deliberate on every decision that they make. Because even in the big and in the small, it impacts the future and the lives of the people who live here and in the county. I just ask your guidance through this agenda tonight, Lord, and that everything that takes place, God, is just right within your will, God, and that you would just continue to bless our county, for we are blessed. We thank you for that. In the holy name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Got the card, okay. Okay, all right, we'll do it. All right, we'll move on tonight, if we may, on consent agenda approval of minutes. We had the first Tuesday of October 3rd, along with the executive session. The board's had the opportunity to review the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, move on to new business. A resolution authorizing recreational trail grant application. Ms. Laura, I understand you've got somebody to introduce to tonight.
I do.
Oh, got the new guy on the block.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm happy to be here tonight and introduce you to Matt Ingram. So Matt joined our team about 3 weeks ago as a new community development specialist. He has some ties, connections, family connections to Middle Georgia, so we were happy to get him away from the state of Florida and back to Middle Georgia. Very good. And so here just to support him and any questions that you might have about the Rec Trails application that we're working on with y'all. And also want to take just a moment to remind you about the Regional Commission annual meeting, which is coming up on October 30th. So you should have gotten an invitation to that. Make sure you let us know that you're going to be there. Should be a fun time.
Thank you.
So with that, I'll be your,
Thank you.
hand out your papers.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me here. So I'm here to discuss the Recreation Trails Grant. We received interest from Jones County in applying for that grant, so we've started putting together the pre-application, mostly looking at the Clinton tenured master plan that was done in February of 2016, which Laura's handing out to you. That kind of has the layout of the trail system. It is about a mile-long trail with the asphalt exercise loop at the top there. You see in gray is about 3/4 of a mile. And then there's a mulched nature trail, which runs through as well, which is just under a 1/4 mile. And it's centered around the tenured itself. So for this project, the pre-application is due November the 1st. And so once we get that submitted, we would wait to hear back the next step. And this program is through the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, which provides a grant for up to $200,000 or 80% of the project cost. And it requires a 20% match from the county. So that would be $40K match. It is a competitive grant. So any donations or support from outside organizations can also be counted as match, whether that's materials, professional services, anything like that. And so what we need as part of that pre-application is an authorization letter signed by you, Mr. Chairman, just on official letterhead acknowledging that it is a reimbursement grant, committing to the 20% match, and that the project will be completed during the grant term, which is 2 years, starting after summer of '24. And we're still, I don't have an updated cost as of right now, but I believe that information should be coming soon from the engineer, Tim Ingram.
But the maximum grant award is the
To 200,000, yes.
Any questions, Mr. Ingram?
No, Chairman, I think we've talked about this in the past and fully supported it, and I just, that's what I was waiting to see if we had gotten any numbers from Tim on how much we would be able to use as in-kind services, because I know we talked about that as part of our match, and
We met with Tim a couple weeks ago, I guess, and he's in the process of pulling all that together. So.
This would tie up in with Jake Woods also, so it'd be.
Yes.
Would 200,000 be sufficient to do the project?
So the 200,000 is the most that the grant will fund, so you'll have to
Right.
have at least $40,000 in addition.
So 240,000, would that be sufficient to do the project?
It's still to be determined what the total project cost is, right?
Yeah.
So you have, as Matt mentioned, this is the pre-application process. They'll review it based on, in comparison to the other projects that are submitted. You then get potentially invited to submit a full application. If at that point the costs have gone beyond what the county's interested in, you could certainly pass on the opportunity to put in a full application.
Any other questions for Mr. Ingram? Mr. Kitchens, you've already started it off.
You have a question?
You have any-
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Motion to approve the authorizing chairman to sign a resolution for the recreational trails grant.
Second?
Second. Any more discussion? None. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and welcome. Okay, Mr. Risner, ACCG Equipment Finance Resolution.
So during the budget process, the board approved the purchase of 3 tractors with a mower attachment. We've been working with Atlantic Southern Equipment. They have a state contract for that equipment. So we got pricing through them. The board approved that purchase. The financing, so Atlantic Southern put us in touch with Wells Fargo. I think they've traditionally used Wells Fargo for these lease purchase arrangements. Got the paperwork back from Wells Fargo, and the interest rate was 8%. And so started to wonder if there were better options out there. And so ACCG has an equipment financing program, reached out to them, and they reached out to all the banks that participate in that program. We only got one additional proposal in, but it's at 5.2%. So it's substantially better than what we had through Wells Fargo. So that's what I'm presenting to you for approval tonight is it's with Magnolia Bank out of Kentucky, and it would be at the 5.2%.
Any question for Mr. Risner?
I like due diligence. Like the 2 words for that.
That being said, somebody want to make a motion?
Okay.
Make a motion, Chairman. Motion to approve the equipment financing resolution based off utilizing ACCG recommendations for 5.2%.
Second?
Second. Any more discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it, thank you. All right, ACCG Mental Health Model Resolution. Commissioner Kitchen and I last week, along with Commissioner Vaughn, were in the classes, and they, ACCG has asked if we would support a resolution to send to the governor. You want to elaborate on it?
Thanks, Chairman. Most of you know that several years back, the state, this is my opinion, I'm paraphrasing my words, not anybody else's, in an attempt to save money, reduce budget costs, a lot of the state mental health facilities were closed down. I think everybody knows what that's done to our local law enforcement, our local governments, and even our communities, not having the services and not having the resources for these people that need it. And so ACCG, which is the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, has asked all of the 159 counties to join in and reach out to the legislators to try to have more input on getting the state to step up and do something in different forms. So I would hope that this board would sign this resolution to go along with others. I think they just started it, and I think they had 43 when we met this past week. I already had 43 sign on to it. So that would be my hope, that this board would approve that resolution.
Any questions for Commissioner Kitchen? None? Who would like?
Chairman, make a motion that we approve the authorization of the resolution from ACCG for mental health model.
Second. Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Ayes have it. We're gonna hit the 15 minutes. We keep this up, you know that, don't you?
Just don't jinx us.
Don't stop. Okay, don't stop. Old business now. Department head. Mr. Risner, you? No? Well, I like that.
Nothing.
You, lady? Citizen comments tonight? Sure. Just give us your name and your location, that way.
Good evening, Board. My name is LaShonda Whipple, and I am a resident of Mountain Springs Road, and I am here tonight to address the ongoing issues. I don't know why it's such a big problem, but it's getting unbearable down that road. I have pictures here. This is what we dealing with down there. When they put gravel on the road, we got speeders down there, they throwing up rocks. My husband's windshield was cracked. That's a $500 deductible right there. This is nonstop. This is what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Before it rains, when the weather is dry, the constant ripples, and it just constantly just bounces your car all over the road. This is what Mountain Spring Road looks like on a good day. That's a good day right there. Constant ripples. I have a neighbor here that lives on Mountain Spring Road. He can attest to that also back there. Then, what's so bad about it, if they do come and scrape the roads, it seems like every time the road gets scraped, it rains.
I've heard that so many times, and said,
This is what we deal with. This is the perfect recipe for the four-wheelers and the 4x4 pickups that come back, and whatever little bit that the county has done, they come back and they destroy county property. All the time, when it's like this and you meet somebody on that road, it's nowhere to get out of the road. I mean, it's ridiculous. Who wants to ride like this? This is a disgrace. It's a total disgrace. I don't know why they're bringing the tractors and whatever they doing, bringing down there. This is what we get. This is utterly ridiculous for county citizens to have to deal with this. And I'm pleading with you all, please help us with Mountain Springs Road. I've been going around talking to the different residents, and I do have signatures. You know, we would like to see some kind of improvements on that road down there. So I am going around discussing it with the different residents that live on the road to see if they would like to move forward on trying to get some kind of improvements done. I mean, 2023, we're almost going into 2024. And we live like this, you know, we're taxpayers like everybody else. We don't get county water or anything like that. We're on well, so we don't ask for much. We just want a decent road to ride on. Thank you, board.
Thank you. Mr. Resner, do we still got that drum roller?
Yes, we do.
I just wanted the M10s and the drum roller on that. It's a thought, we can do the M10s and that drum roller, and pack it in there, maybe we can get that. Problem we get, once you get that washboard going, it's hard to stop. I just wanted it.
Right. Has Sean looked at it? Have we
Yeah, I
already
was-
investigated it?
I was gonna say, the road may need, Sean's gonna be the director and choose the technique to fix it, but it may need breaking up and ripping, you know, and break those holes up so they don't keep coming back in the same spots.
And they come back in the same spot every time.
That's where you gotta scuff our teeth through it, and
Yeah.
he knows how to put it back together,
Fish
but
Chapel's right around the corner. We just had an issue with them.
Yeah.
Fix this week.
definitely need to
Fish Chapel.
increase
So it's,
frequency
I got
of
called
Yeah,
in.
they have to travel Pitts Chapel to get to their road.
Right.
They've either got to travel Pitts Chapel or they've got to travel Grisaville.
Yeah, because I had a call in for Pitts, and I sent to Mr. Risner and Sean at the same time to give them a heads up. I think they were on Pitts Chapel today. I think I got a text, but I'm just running, where's Washburn? I just wonder, we might have to rip it and
right.
run it smooth.
And I will say this, as a transportation director, I'm driving buses on these roads all the time, so I see them. Yours is not the only road. I live on a dirt road also. I understand that. I've got a well, my own septic tank, and I take my trash to the dump every Sunday. So I get it too. And when that washboard starts up, it's hard on us.
Hard
And
on
I
vehicles.
understand, but where you're talking about, that washboard is always there, and those holes, every time it rains, it comes up. Yeah.
Whether it's dry or wet, it's just, I mean, when they sprinkle, we may get a good ride for 2 days, but that's about it.
Powder's getting beat out of the holes again.
Yeah.
It's gotta be broke up.
So I just want to share this real quick, Ms. Whipple, so you know, Sean texted me on yesterday at 4:30, and he said he spoke with Ms. Whipple and explained that we have been doing and will continue to do in the way of routine maintenance on Mountain Springs Road. He mentioned that there are now 2 motor graders. Did he talk with you about that? Okay, not doing anything. All right, well,
They're on my side of the town right now, because I'm driving them bus routes over there right now, so I do know, I saw 2 in my area the other day, so they'll come down Grisaville that way next.
yep, so he mentioned that, and then he said that you were working on getting the signatures and the petition plans on attending the meeting today. And he said he will be out of training, but he asked you to give him a call if you had any more questions. So the solution sounds like ripping the road all the way down to the base where we can solve the problem. How soon can we do that?
That's a
You
Sean
gotta do it
question.
with the weather when it's right.
The weather too, but I'm just thinking
So how
about
many days do you need for it to be clear to try and do that?
the M10s and, I mean, just, they want a little moisture in it, but they're gonna have to rip it, because what's happening is, we know, rock's going in there, bouncing back out, so
Absolutely.
we're gonna have to sit down there and
You gotta mix it.
just rip it, and then recompact it and try to get it, because once you get it, it's there.
Right, so from a dry day perspective, you need 2 days or 3 days? So I'm looking at my 10-day calendar, that's what I'm
Probably 2 days
asking.
after the rain would be perfect.
Unless
days.
it's like last week's rain where you get 6+ inches and then it's, everybody's road's a mess.
So we just want to give Jason some directive to give Sean, when he gets back, plan to rip that section of the road up.
It's a pretty good section, it's not
I
just
would,
a small
I
part.
would ask Sean to give us a plan of action.
Yeah, because he's done as much,
Look at the
lot
weather.
more we have.
Look at your resources, look at your equipment.
But I don't
when
want to
can you get
wait
it
2
done?
more weeks.
Right,
for
no,
that
no,
to give us.
As of, plan of action as of today.
Gotcha, okay, I'm with that. All right, perfect.
Could we get your phone number before we leave too? That way we've got to contact you directly. Somebody on this board or this group will give you a call also.
I will absolutely call.
All right. Anyone else tonight? We get,
Good evening. My name is Evelyn Hill, and I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Woods, who's our representative for District 2, for the speed breakers that going down in Haddock, which was very much needed, and
Yes,
the
ma'am.
grant that you secured for the Haddock Park. My question is, do you have any idea when you might have the town hall meeting to discuss what we want to put in the Haddock Park?
I've got to get with Mr. Rosenberger, Bert Rosenberger, Director of the Parks and Recreation, and I would say probably the week, I know we're having the dinner on the Thursday after the next meeting, but it'll be sometime just after, probably the week after the next meeting, so it'll be the second week in November is what we're looking at.
Okay, are we invited to the dinner?
So we'll have that work session then.
So I know that Thursday was taken that same week, so I was looking at the following week.
The following week.
Right, right, that's
We
what I
got
was looking at.
appreciation
He's
and,
talking
night.
about the employee appreciation.
Right,
We got
that
it.
Thursday evening will
Okay.
be tied up. I don't want to touch Wednesday, that's church night. So we're looking at probably the next week, the off week, for the
Okay.
second week is what we're looking at.
That's
So I'm
fine.
going to get with Bert.
Just
we'll
wanted to
announce
have
it.
some type of idea, because I've been talking to people in the community about things that they would like to see in the
Yes, ma'am.
park, and they were asking when, you know,
Right,
we
all
were going
will
to
be
have a
welcome
meeting.
to that meeting, town hall meeting in Haddock. We'll have it at the park.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
She didn't know you were standing up behind her when we.
It's okay, I
That's all
can
right.
wait. I've been waiting 2 years, but I can wait. I had about 64 pictures and 32 videos.
Can I get your name and-
My name is Rosetta Adams, I'm sorry. I live in this, what y'all consider the South County of Jones County. I am the primary caregiver for my 88-year-old parents, Raymond and Robbie Calloway, at 3162 Bethune Avenue. We have a tenant, I guess, that lives at 3164, who has established an auto paint and body shop in our neighborhood. I just printed you some basic pictures so you don't have to go through my videos,
Right.
34 videos and 64 pictures. Russ with planning and zoning inspections, he's been great. He come by, he issues citations, but like I said, this has been going on for almost 2 years. The latest thing that I heard was that they were to appear in court the last 2 times. They got an attorney. I don't know if it was the guy that's actually doing the painting or the guy that owns the house. That they requested a postponement. The last thing I heard, that the attorney and the prosecutor were in talks. I don't know what they could be talking about, because surely that is a violation. To have an attorney, you've got a defense or you're trying to negotiate. There's no defense, there's negotiation when you're putting a body shop and painting. These are fumes. My parents do not have terrible health issues at 88 and 89 years old. I don't want it to start because of this. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter. She has some breathing problems, loves to be outside, just like my daddy. They can't go outside. We've had company. People have had to leave because of smelling the fumes, and or because moving their cars, because they don't want paint on their cars that's coming over the fence or over the bushes. I've come home some days, I can't even let the garage door down because the fumes actually take my breath away. So we got to leave the garage door up half the night in order to get that odor out. And like I said, it's been going on for 2 years. Russ, he works part-time. He's been great. He'll be off Friday, and they've started Friday evening when they know inspection's not going to come, all day Saturday and all day Sunday. I can text Russ, I can send him documentation. He's Johnny on the spot when he gets back to work Monday or Tuesday. He comes down and he sees citations, citations, citations. I don't need citations. I need some action. I work for the state of Georgia with inspections and elections. I know stuff is done on different levels of government, from the state, local, to the federal. It shouldn't take 2 years for somebody to make an adjustment with this. I don't know how he could come to Jones County and just do this, and it's just blown over.
Russ is the,
Russ is planning and zoning. I think he works part-time with planning and zoning for Jones County,
oh, Bill's been, okay.
and we've actually had code enforcement.
And we had environmental come in there too, I think.
Well,
Enforcement.
Bill Fleming came down, and he told me that he saw evidence that it was painting body work going on over there, but because they deal more on an industrial level, that he's not doing so much that they could do anything about. And from the moment Bill told me that, I counted. This guy did 15 cars in less than 2 weeks. I respect the fact that he told me that they deal more on an industrial level, but this is not right. I'm just asking for some fairness. I've got neighbors behind me, neighbors on side of us, neighbors across the street. People call me 2 houses up. Are they painting next door because we smell it? That's ridiculous. And these guys do not care. I mean, I don't care anything about their health because they don't care anything about mine, but they're sitting there painting with no coverage, no protection for themselves, but, I mean, they don't care about anything.
I know Tiffany's worked on it. I do, because I follow it, because you emailed me. And
I sure did.
I forwarded it to Tiffany, our code enforcement, and I know, I think I think just what you said, they didn't, and I don't know why they would not deal it with it on the industrial, you know.
Well, that's what he told me. It was that they deal more on the industrial level, you know, if it was industrial, and it was a lot. And they're also burning the rubber. I mean, today, somebody stopped by today, delivered some bumpers for new trucks and cars. I mean, that goes on all that. We even get the deliveries sometimes. People, and it's got notes on the back, auto paint body in the back. Well, I don't know what the solution is. I don't understand why it would take that long for somebody to cease and desist this stuff.
That would be my question.
That's
Right, that would fall under a nuisance, wouldn't it, Ashley?
Well, if they've been issued citations, I mean, I can tell you citations haven't been pending in the court for 2 years, so I don't quite understand the 2-year mark.
It's been reported for 2 years now. I don't know when they started issuing the citations.
Okay.
And just this past week, Russ said, okay, that's another citation. He said we could just get him into court. I don't know, we're trying to get into court. He said that the prosecutor was actually speaking with the guy's attorney. And like I said, I don't know if it's the homeowner's attorney or if it's the guy that's doing the painting.
So it sounds like they've had 2 court dates, and that's so that would have gone to magistrate court. Magistrate court is under Superior Court rules, the lowest sort of on the priority list. If that attorney has a conflict with another court, they have to be in another court. Magistrate court gets continued, and there's nothing that can be done about that. It's the rules of the court. So if it's been continued because the attorney had to be in another court,
I don't know why they asked for postponements,
yeah,
but
so,
it was,
and I
it was a
don't
brush
either.
off, but I'm sure that was...
But magistrate court can tell you the exact date that it's scheduled to come back before the court. I would suggest, because unless, like you're doing tonight, the judge hears from citizens and hears the problems in the neighborhood that it's causing and really the extent and how long it's been going on, then the court is not going to know. So I would suggest you be present on that court date so that you can be heard, so that it's not just sort of, we'll pay a fine and move on. Because the next step, if they continue to do it after the citations move forward, would be to seek an injunction through the court. But again, you know, this body is a different body, and the judge is not sitting in, you know,
I understand.
in the audience. So being present at the court date would be, I would suggest very highly.
And Russ would tell us when the next court date is. He said, and most of this is handled in the back of the court. He said, I really don't want y'all to come up. He's because I don't want there to be any kind of type of altercation. Because I know they know that I'm telling. I really don't care at this point because I'm looking out for safety. I don't care what he's doing.
So help me understand this. Our code enforcement, Tiffany, cannot stop or issue anything.
Well, it sounds like they've already issued citations, which would be what she would do.
Right, but beyond that, like a cease and desist, nothing like that.
That would go through the court, like
Okay.
an
Yeah,
injunction.
I'm just making sure
That's
I
another,
understand that.
hold up,
Yeah.
you know, Tiffany's got a lot of stuff right now sitting in the courts that she's
Right.
waiting on. And
I
I mean,
understand.
that's the problem, we're waiting on courts, you know, and, I followed up on Tiffany on this, and she had let me know that EPD, EPA, whatever group came out there had looked at it, and again, it was above their, being residential, that wasn't their wheelhouse.
Right.
But I do know, just like you're concerned with the courts, we've got a lot of stuff pending in the county, and we're just, you know, sitting.
But on the P&Z side, if someone's operating a business that shouldn't be a business, what's her authority or zoning and planning's authority?
That's the citation.
Yeah.
So that's all, either one of them could do
And
is
then they
citate.
can seek an injunction to where if the person continues to violate, they can be arrested.
I think what she's saying is Tim's office has written them a citation that says stop, and they're
Right.
not stopping. And so the next step is for the
Right.
court to say stop, or this is what
Right.
will happen.
But then they don't show up in court, so there's
Right.
no way for you to move forward.
Right.
So she's in that dead zone, for lack of better term, to.
But I would disagree.
court.
I think you being in court would be
And your neighbors.
absolutely necessary, yes.
So-
And any neighbors that want to go as well, because the court needs to know it's a real problem, or it's going to look just like any other citation that comes before the court, you know, pay a fine and move to the next one. It needs to be known that there's, you know, more than just what is perhaps seen on that citation.
So I want to give you my number. When you see paint, just call me. I'd like to come by and investigate.
Any Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Friday after 5 o'clock, when they, I mean, he's familiar with Russ. He's even tried to put up a privacy fence. He put fencing on my cousin's fence behind the house to keep, you know, you from looking and say, I mean, I don't need all that. There's a way around all of that. Just as shrewd as he is, I must.
And again-
And then there's no fence that he could put up high enough. Those fumes are not coming over his fence and our bushes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Tim even came down one day. It was, well, I don't want to get into that, because no sooner than Russ texted Tim, he showed up, they stopped, and they just sat out there and just waited. I mean, it was like when he left, they started back to painting. So that kind of sent my mind to another direction that I didn't want to go to, but
Well, like I said, we'll call Commissioner Martin, he'd like to see that too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll recheck with Tiffany, but like I said.
And call magistrate court tomorrow and find out the.
next court date.
Yes.
And just say that you'd like to be heard on that case because of and other neighbors too. Judge Patterson, he does a real good job, and I think you'll.
Show
he,
up, speak, and be heard.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else tonight?
Jesus.
Any commissioners want to start? You want to go ladies first tonight?
Nothing.
Oh, Commissioner Martin?
I'm good.
I'm good tonight.
Nothing, sir.
Well, I'm gonna have a little quick, I'm all about accountability and transparency. I had 2 county employees help me on their day off on Columbus Day. So, cows needed fed, some feed, and they said, I will be glad to help, so.
You're supporting workforce development, is that what you're saying?
Huh?
You're supporting workforce development.
Workforce development, they said they'd be more than happy to help me, get the feed for the cows, and I said, woo, come on. So,
So,
if
Ms.
see
Debbie,
ca-
if you want to print that in the front page, that chairman has county employees doing work on the side.
I'm paying the county employees. It was
Right, they
it-
weren't on county pay.
One was Public Works and
He
one
lit
was
off when they were
Recreation.
on
So with
holiday,
that being
that's right.
said, we got complete transparency, and they got all the honey buns and donuts they could carry home that day, and they were happy. When we could go back on
When
the,
workman's comp cake shows up because they broke a back.
I got workers' comp, so don't worry about it.
Or their diabetes went over.
Well.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
No, I didn't get an invite to work.